The kingdom of Eldoria was no longer the land of gold and song it once was. A silent, violet blight had begun to crawl across the fields, turning wheat to ash and draining the life from the great oak. From her balcony, Princess Uriel watched the creeping shadow. Her father, the king, lay in a sleep no physician could wake him from. Legend spoke of the Sunstone, a relic of the old gods hidden within the whispering labyrinth. A place where the walls shifted like thoughts and the air was thick with the voices of the forgotten. No knight had ever returned from its gates. But Uriel wasn't a knight, she was a desperate daughter. She didn't seek a hero. She sought a ghost. In the dampest corner of the royal dungeon sat Ken, a man with a silver tongue and fingers that could unlock the secrets of the world. He was a thief, a rogue who had once stolen the queen's own signet ring just to see if he could. "I'm not looking for a pardon, princess," Ken said, leaning back in the shadows of his cell. "The labyrinth is the only way to save Eldoria," Uriel whispered, her voice steady despite her fear. "Help me survive it, and you'll have enough gold to buy a kingdom of your own. Fail me, and there won't be a world left to hide in." Kale looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not a spoiled brat, but a wildfire. He stood, a slow, dangerous smile spreading across his face. "Pack light, princess. The labyrinth doesn't like heavy hearts." The entrance to the labyrinth was a jagged tear in the side of the Iron Mountains. As they stepped inside, the temperature plummeted. The stone walls didn't just stand, they breathed. For 3 days, they navigated a world of impossible geometry. Kale was a marvel of instinct, sensing pressure plates before they clicked and hearing the subtle groan of shifting corridors before they closed. But the labyrinth was more than a puzzle, it was a mirror. "Don't listen to the walls," Kale warned one night as they huddled by a small, flickering campfire. "They find your regrets. They turn them into ghosts." "And what do the walls say to you, Kale?" Anya asked. For the first time, the thief's bravado flickered. He looked away. "They remind me of the things I didn't save. The people I left behind." In the silence that followed, Uriel reached out, her hand resting on his. The tension between them wasn't just the fear of the dark. It was the sudden, terrifying realization that they were no longer strangers. The princess and the thief were the only two real things in a world of illusions. As they reached the inner sanctum, the whispers grew into screams. Anya saw a vision of her father, calling to her, begging her to stay in the dark. She almost stopped, but Ken's hand caught her, pulling her back against his chest. "It's not real, Uriel. Look at me." She blinked, the fog clearing. They stood before a pedestal bathed in a light so pure it hurt to look at. The Sunstone. But as Uriel reached for it, Ken didn't move toward the treasure. He moved toward the shadows behind it. "You took your time, thief," a cold, familiar voice echoed. Out of the darkness stepped Lord Valerius, the king's most trusted advisor. He held a staff tipped with the same violet blight that was killing the kingdom. Uriel's blood ran cold. "Valerius? You're the one who poisoned the land." The king was weak, Valerius sneered. "Eldoria needs a ruler who understands power."
"And you, boy, did you fulfill your end of the bargain? Did you lead the princess to her grave as we agreed in the dungeon?" Uriel felt as though the floor had vanished. She looked at Ken, her heart breaking. "Ken. Is it true? Ken stood between them, his hand on the hilt of his dagger. He didn't look at Valerius. He looked only at Uriel. He offered me my freedom before you ever came to my cell, Uriel. He told me to lead you here and leave you. He took a step toward her, his voice low. She grabbed the stone, and instead of taking it, she offered it her life, hope and her love for her people. The stone erupted. A wave of golden light crashed through the chamber, dissolving Valerius's shadow magic and throwing the traitor into the shifting depths of the maze, where the walls closed over him forever. As the chamber crumbled, Ken grabbed Uriel. They ran through closing walls and falling stones, the labyrinth trying to claim them both. At the final exit, a massive stone door began to descend. Ken threw Anya through the gap, but a falling pillar pinned his leg. "Go," he shouted, the light fading. Uriel didn't go. She shoved her shoulder against the stone, her royal robes tearing, her hands bleeding. "I am the princess of Eldoria," she hissed through gritted teeth, "and I do not leave my people behind." With a strength born of desperation, she leveraged a fallen beam, shifting the weight just enough for Kale to slide free. They tumbled out of the mountain just as the entrance sealed with a thunderous boom. The sunstone sat in Anya's palm, glowing softly. Across the horizon, they watched as the violet blight vanished from the valley below, replaced by the vibrant green of new life. Ken leaned against a rock, breathing hard, his face bruised but his eyes bright. "You're a terrible princess, Uriel. You don't know how to stay safe." Anya sat beside him, the adrenaline fading into a warm, heavy glow. She leaned her head on his shoulder. "And you're a terrible thief, Kay. You gave back the most valuable thing you ever found." He turned his face toward hers, the morning sun hitting them for the first time in days. "I haven't given it back yet," he whispered. He leaned in, and this time, there was no labyrinth, no blight, and no secrets. Just a kiss that tasted of sunlight and survival. Eldoria was saved, but its queen would never be the same.